everyone. Today I am talking to an innovation evangelist. He is a NITIE alumnus and has keen interest in the area of innovation and design thinking. He has also completed his doctorate in the area of innovation. We will discuss about a few interesting facts of Pavan's corporate and entrepreneurial journey and what inspired him to write a book. So, Pavan, let me start with the first question. How NITIE helped you in choosing your career and writing a book?
Yeah. So NITI has been very instrumental in me being an innovation evangelist because the word innovation itself was introduced to me when I was studying at NITI. And when I was sitting through those classes on technology management, especially I remember sitting through Professor Bhasin's class, and that was quite instrumental in sort of making me think differently about the whole topic. And thereafter, this winter internship, which is very unique to NITI, 4 months of internship that we have to do going to a corporate and then taking up a project. During that winter internship, I went to Titan. And though I was campus placed into Wipro, but since Wipro did not have the concept of winter internship and they could not advance my joining date, I had to go to Titan. And that's where, as a part of my winter internship project, I got to work on one of the design structures for the innovation department. And it so happened that fortunately I got a chance to also present my work to to Mr. Bhaskar Bhatt, who was then the CEO of Titan. And that's where I got further entrenched into the space of innovation management and technology management. And one thing led to another. At Wipro, I got to work in the chief technology officer's office for about 6 years. And that's what motivated me to eventually write my PhD entrance exam and then do my fellowship program from IIM Bangalore. So I think NITI has been very, very instrumental in giving me that first boost and introducing me to the arena of innovation management.
And how you ended up writing a book on design thinking?
Yeah, thank you. So this is the book, by the way, that we have that's called Design Your Thinking, which has been
Yeah,
published
so
by
you can, yeah.
Penguin Random House in the month of December 2020. Writing a book was a long journey, started somewhere in the start of 2019. But writing per se has been a very, very deeply entrenched habit. So I remember writing my first set of articles when I was at NITI. So I used to write blogs at that point in time. Now there was no obligation to write as a part of the course material, etc. But then I picked this hobby up, and since 2005 all the way to 2019, with some 1,000 odd articles that I had managed to write down. So somebody from Penguin reached out to me, reading those articles and talking about the case studies that I was doing. And the person said that, would you be interested in writing a full book for us? I had no plans of writing a book, by the way, that too on the topic of design thinking. The only thing that I had in my mind was to convert my thesis into a book. And that was occupying my mind. But it so happened that Penguin reached out. The topic of design thinking is very topical. I've done series of workshops on design thinking, and I thought this is the right moment for really give a fillip to my consulting career and write a book. Because as a consultant, when if you have a good book against your name, it's always advisable and it's beneficiary. So it took me about year and a half to write down the book. I had, thanks to the PhD program at IIM Bangalore, I had a good understanding of the subject of innovation management, design thinking, etc. And then the consulting career also helped me beef up some of the insights. And I'm pretty feeling pretty lucky to actually get this book out. Timing couldn't have been better, though it's a slowdown because of the pandemic. But then once things revive, I'm sure this book would do good, do good for
Of
it.
course, sure. It will definitely happen, and my best of luck to you and my best wishes, actually, from NITI. We will surely tell everyone to try and read this book because it seems different. One, number two, innovation and design thinking is very in thing these days,
That's
so
right.
you must read it. Yeah. So let me just go to another question, which says, from design thinking perspective, can you share some of the insights on skills required for students in current business scenario?
Absolutely. So I think the rate of change is so huge, especially in the last couple of years, that we need to really teach our students how to manage their own career. It is very naive for one to think that 2 years of a postgraduate program could help somebody have a career for 40 years. The 40 years of career has to happen with continuous learning. So, three core skills that our students need to develop. One is creative problem solving. When they will go out in the real world, they would be encountering problems on a daily basis. Now, you can either solve a problem with common sense or you can solve a problem with a scientific rigor. And that's how the Japanese, the Germans, and South Koreans solve problems in a very scientifically rigorous manner. So, I think if we can teach our students to look at the problems, define them clearly, and then solve them creatively, that's going to be a very concrete skill for them. The second thing is how to be self managed and self governed. We, for a very long time, have been looking up to somebody to guide us, looking up to our parents, teachers, supervisors, and henceforth and so on. But going forward, your supervisor may be as clueless as you are as to what is the right thing to do. And that is where if the locus of control can come back to the individual and he or she can decide what needs to be done and what is the right thing to do at that point in time. And that is where the entrepreneurial skill comes into bearing. I always believe that entrepreneurship is not a profession. Entrepreneurship is a way of thinking. It's a way of life. And you can be entrepreneurial as a part of the faculty team at NITIE. You can be entrepreneurial as a part of a large enterprise like a Wipro or an IBM. And you can be entrepreneurial by being a government servant as well. And by being entrepreneurial, you have to take initiatives, you have to take a bit of risk, and you have to be your own sort of a governance mechanism. That's the second skill. So the first is skill is creative problem solving. The second skill is entrepreneurial streak. And third skill is to be really able to think beyond your domain. And I believe that what NITIE does, though we are all engineers when we enter into NITIE, but what NITIE does is that it exposes you to a huge array of subjects. Absolutely.
So it's good. So a lot of serious discussion, Pavan. Now let us come to some fun moments you had at NITI. Can you share some of the fun moments?
Absolutely, Sumi. So NITIE, the entire duration at NITIE, it's very difficult to identify one or two fun moments. Because what I really loved about that institution, and I still do, and almost every year I visit NITIE. Just about last year I was there, but pandemic I could not. But I make it a point that whenever I'm in Bombay, I try and visit the alma mater.
Yes.
The first thing about that institution, it is a very cozy place. Not only cozy from a weather and atmosphere point of view, but also the coziness that we share with teachers, with staff, and all of that. It was always home away from home. It's pretty self-contained place, not too huge like other campuses, not concrete jungle. So it is the right balance. So we have been gifted that way from natural point of view, and that allowed us to be really experimentative, to really start so many clubs, start kind of student activities, do things on the margins outside of the classroom, etc. So that kind of gave a tremendous amount of confidence to all of us. I distinctly remember when I first got my blazers up, we would go in the local trains, meet the corporates, come back, share our discussions with people. And that place gave us this sort of unfound sense of confidence, right? Irrational exuberance, if you may, in terms of going out to people talking way above our rank and file just because we had the backing of this institution. So the fun was in the learning, the fun was in experimentation, and the sheer autonomy that was given to us. At the time, we had such a small batch size. We had just about 60 odd people in PGDI and a similar size or thereabouts in PGDIM. And the sheer rivalry that we had between the two, which was very productive. And I still believe that it remains productive, though there are a lot of other courses which have sprung up, but the rivalry was always productive. I never thought it taking ugly turns because this one-upmanship honestly brought a lot out of us.
Good, and we are lucky enough to have you because I'm sure we will be organizing some innovation classes for students. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Pavan, for such a lovely interaction, and I'll get back to you again for interaction with students. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Appreciate that highly. Take care.